So that 100% random episode was a roaring success, wasn't it?
Absolutely bloody amazing. Fuck you, McBain.
Alright. Fuck you, McBain. The only problem now, of course, is now I actually have to choose, and I don't want it to be as bad as that shit. And we have a lot to choose from, and now I'm really worried that we're going to get another McBain. I don't want another McBain.
Nobody wants another McBain. Even Mr. fucking Glickenhaus doesn't want another McBain.
Fuck you, Glickenhaus.
Fuck you.
I know we keep picking from this line, and it's almost like we're doing it on purpose. But Malcolm McDowell. I mean, 243 erg cubed. What's that? The recycler.
Erg the recycler.
Oh.
RG cubed the recycler.
No people falling to the death of this one. This is all fine.
Cyborg.
Hang on, the first thing I see taking this out is mechano horse. I think I've made the right choice.
Horse?
Alright. Enter the dark world of Cyborg 243. Mechano horse and synthetic humanoids, maybe? Cyborg cubed the recycler, starring Malcolm McDowell. Zach Galligan from Gremlins and Christine Hage. The battle between man and machine rages on, as it always has. So this is obviously the third in whatever, and I don't think we have 1 and 2. No, I do not see 1 or 2. Exciting and futuristic sci-fi starring Malcolm McDowell, A Clockwork Orange, and Zach Galligan, Gremlins.
Also Gremlins 2.
Gremlins, Orbs. Enter the dark underworld of the dark underworld of Cyberdeus.
Oh.
And mechanohores, synthetic humanoids, and ruthless recyclers who stop at nothing to scavenge cyborg parts and sell them to the highest bidder. In this sweeping adventure, biomechanical problems begin to take down Cash. What? The heroine. Yes. More than a marvel of cyborg technology, Cash is the first of her kind to become pregnant.
Oh, God.
Pregante! As the battle between man and machine rages on. Prism leisure. Nice. No other information. Language, occasional and mild. Sex and nudity, once moderate. Violence, occasional and strong. And other, none. There's nothing other.
No other.
Cyborg the Third or Recycler.
No.
Alright, this might be a winner. I mean, yeah. It's better than McBain. It's gotta be better than McBain, okay? It's gotta be better than McBain.
Yeah, missed.
Cut. I mean, that's...
It's pretty.
Cyborg cubed the recycler.
Starring Zach Galligan from Gremlins and Christy whoever from whatever. Wait.
Cyborg cubed.
Wasn't Malcolm McDowell on the docks?
He's not even mentioned.
He's not even mentioned.
Will he even be in it? Because he's
He'll be in it, but there's a small possibility it's like a scene from one of the previous 2 movies which we haven't seen. Which is the other thing, is this being the 3rd movie, we could be completely and utterly lost. Oh.
the bowler hat really makes it.
It does. I love it. And the eye, that's great.
I've got him, let's go!
Oh!
So the
Well,
truck was
the
carrying
truck was carrying
other vehicles.
other vehicles.
I love this so far.
Yeah, I'm not regretting this at all.
So that truck is completely redundant because you could have just been driving these. If you truck was chasing that
you
guy.
needed the entrance.
I know the Batmobile's going the other way. Hey, he's in the film.
Yeah. Oh, he's a cyborg.
He's got a
Yes, Lord
crocodile hand.
Hello, Lord Talon. How are you this fine and lovely day, sir?
Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing you too.
Okay.
Because he had a cybernetic arm and tank girl as well.
Thank you.
So, but there's still, mobile/cellular service in
Could
the
you
post-apocalypse.
polish this one?
I love it.
Just this one though.
I love it. It's great.
Oh, I assume he works for them. And he's not just taking off that guy's pants for nefarious means.
Nice jump ship. Lend me your ear. Perhaps just a finger. Now that's a fair request. Jocko, give the man a finger.
Oh no. I can see it coming.
Oh, come on. That was great. That was great.
Oh, come, Lord Talon. It's good stuff. Don't force me to go elsewhere.
Ah, but Mr. Llewellyn, as you can see, it's got no eyes. And to quote an old parable, take it or leave it. At first, I really missed my own hand. But in time, I found that this new one had certain advantages.
In the
A man
bedroom,
of
if you know what I mean.
And at 13 pounds of pressure, I found that it made a very acceptable manacle. Well, don't you think? At 20 pounds, it'll make you scratch your testicles till you bleed. At 30 pounds, well...
What?
Okay. That escalated
Nice.
quickly, didn't it?
And I see it also conducts electricity too, eh?
Was that him? Is he out of the movie now? Was that Malcolm McDowell?
No, my guess is he's going to want revenge, but...
Well, la-di-da. It's good to be back in civilization, eh?
You're not picking up all the fucking money you just dropped?
Isn't that what you're there for? Money? Nope, they're there for the hunky boys.
Oh, Meccano hose.
Hey, come back here. Recycler, come get a piece of me. Come on. Wake up.
We're looking for a good time.
Hey, come back here.
I'll take you both on.
Screw you, you silicone bitch. She's mine. I'm triple jointed.
Oh,
Get me out
no.
of here.
One of them say I'm triple jointed.
Yep. Oh, no, this is a club.
See, player, over here, man. Bring your ass over here, man. Come on, play me, brother. Ooh, you a big one. Oh, man, it's a barbarian. Come on, big guy. Come on, pull my stick. Try a trick with my stick. You can do it. Come on, bigger, you can do it. Come on, big guy.
Well, see for yourself. There is definitely a second heartbeat. I don't know how or why, but you're pregnant. Well, get rid of it. It's taking down my power. I can feel it. Take it out of me.
Hook it up to a battery.
I don't know how.
Purchase the full treatments. I am Alexia.
Was that his plan all along?
What would you like to
To
do
get there,
first?
attack the guy, steal his money, and then immediately go into the building behind him and buy a prostitute?
Well, did he kill
Why
him?
don't you make her sound
'Cause if
Let's
not,
hope so.
Come sit on the couch.
Let's hope so, otherwise he's going to be back any second. But hang on, didn't he just kill the guy he sells parts to?
I bet you never had a fella like me before, eh?
oh, this is
I got a better
unpleasant.
idea.
Isn't it already too late?
Oh, no. I'm thinking there is a man. He's,
What?
well, he used to be some sort of a visionary programmer, a genius from the Golden Age. He lives in the zone,
That's gonna be
way out
Zach
in the
Galligan.
northwest quadrant of the Badlands. His name is, Evans. Baby, he may be your only hope.
Wow. Why would a programmer know about android pregnancy? Okay, so what happened in there? Did you kill them all? Because your number of eyes hasn't gone up by many. Okay. He looks very confused.
She's close.
Apparently she's in the ceiling.
What the fuck was that?
She dropped a strobe bomb.
Oh,
Let's go! Let's disco dance! She did! She dropped a rave bomb. It's just a rave bomb.
how are they tracking her?
Yes. I still don't know why they're tracking her. I don't know what they're doing.
They said, you know, they hunt for old cyborgs to scrap them for parts. But,
Yeah. And
but
then,
then he seems to kill every cyborg, even like the prostitutes who are clearly working
that
for.
he paid for.
Yeah.
So he's not getting money for any of it. It's very baffling.
Well, I mean, the fact that he's wearing a necklace of eye.
means he's
things.
not selling them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the other one seems to be like, I don't know if it's like he's been programmed to
Oh,
obey him or
90s
something.
music video. Is she looking for the programmer then? And assumes
Yes,
she
I'm
isn't.
assuming.
Oh,
Oh,
What kind of android are you?
there's cars in the background.
You're imagining it. Okay, is this on the soundtrack or is somebody playing an electric guitar? I can't tell with this film.
Well, if it's not somebody playing a guitar or somebody playing music, then it's very. Oh, there you go.
It's Zach Galligan playing an air guitar.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. Good night. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good night. Drive safely.
Relax, I've done this 1,000 times. Stand still. There you have it. An onboard in vitro chamber. Incredible. Cybernetic womb and a cryogenic sperm bank. It's all here in your schematics.
So it's
Now
not
that we know
miraculous
what it
then. She was
is.
literally built to carry a fetus to
Get the hell
term.
out of me.
You're creating another life. Right now, something is growing inside of you. You're going to be a mother, Cash. Maybe they were right. Maybe you don't have the emotional wet works. Go.
That was his big plan, was to turn the lights off and then shine a torch at them.
Oh, my eyes! My eyes!
That was your big escape plan?
A smoke grenade!
What the fuck? Not sped up at all, Cisco. I don't know what you're talking about.
What's wrong? What's happening?
Check the gauges.
Everything reads normal.
That's what I thought. Get out quickly and run.
What for?
Just do it.
You don't understand. I can fix it. Oh, well, what in the hell are we gonna do now?
If all the gauges show normal, you better run the fuck away from a car.
We've got 2 recyclers
Because
on
it's gonna blow up,
My
okay?
cruiser just spotted, and if we don't find this figment of your misguided imagination...
No explanation or anything, it's just... That's just... This happened, shut up and move on. So this is Town? This sucks. You just all sit around abandoned buildings?
New game, gentlemen. New game.
Wait. I know this human. I don't remember you. Evans. Charles Osborne Evans. He wrote the software for the 204 series. This guy is a bloody genius. He wrote
Oh, for fuck's sake.
How long? 42.957% of the units walking around this town were built from his designs.
How?
Each and every one of us owe our existence to this man, or someone like him.
And what about her?
How is he from the Golden Age?
She's a
Let's say,
cyborg.
how is he not aged?
Something incredible is happening here, and every one of us knows
What's
it.
that?
She is the first of our kind to become one of their kind. We're all part creator because of her, and it makes me feel proud.
Technology's been around for at least 100 years, though.
She is living proof that we are not just a machine.
Oh no, they're trying something and it's
Yeah.
failing.
She's our future.
It's falling flat on its face.
If she
I
dies,
feel awkward for the movie.
we all die.
I'm embarrassed for the movie, Cisco.
We must protect her to save ourselves.
Help, I'm embarrassed for the movie.
I am as well.
So yeah, Malcolm McDowell, he was in the film. He acted in this film.
Well, if he doesn't come back for the end, then I'm going to be royally pissed.
Good, we're going to need it.
He's on the fucking cover.
Gentlemen, let's get down to the business.
There was a time I lived to build cyborgs. I was in awe of what you could accomplish.
When he was
Faster,
2?
stronger, more perfect than I ever dreamed of being. I envied every single one of you.
When was that?
I haven't felt that way in a long time.
Is he supposed to be playing a really old man?
Quick, get her up.
Is Zach Galligan supposed to be playing a very old man?
It would have to be. I mean, it doesn't make sense, his character, unless
Guys, you're gonna have to clear out and
unless
give
there
me
is
some
some
room to work,
explanation, like
please.
humans stopped
Not you,
aging
Cap,
for some
stand.
reason.
Connect her.
I mean, you know, we created perfect cyborg robots, basically androids.
The ribbon cable port. There you go.
Baby, a miracle.
Why is it a miracle? It was literally designed to do this. I am very confused on this all this miracle bollocks.
Here's the other thing: is he keeps going. Oh, the technology's been around for hundreds of years.
Yeah,
We just don't bother using it.
they're all gonna blow up. Every single one of them.
Oh yeah.
Do it! Do it!
Do it!
Blow them up!
Explode! Yeah!
Why did they all do that?
Well, it did stop first.
Well, no, it slowed to a stop first. It didn't activate all the brakes.
It was for the comedy.
Llewellyn, we found the force field. It fried the bike, so we're walking.
Blow up!
Don't worry about my hands, Doc. Just weld these into my servos.
How's that?
Terrible.
Let's see.
How are you going to reload?
Because with hands, you can hold many firearms. Oh, this is a stupid montage.
You know what? I'm all for it. I'm looking forward to the fight.
I feel bad for the guy who's clearly missing legs. And he's like, sorry, can't give you legs. the actor who's clearly
Yeah,
missing
oh, yeah.
actual legs, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I can't give you legs."
Come and get it, you pussies.
Can someone reload my guns for me? Oh, for fuck's sake, movie, really?
Also, tactically speaking, that's not just clustering together in that without cover and everything. Yep, more nunchucks.
Oh no, a big wobbly rubber hose for some reason. I really want him to run out of ammunition and his last words to be, "I didn't think this through." There's a ninja! A fucking ninja there for some reason on Squibs. Then why take it out in the first
He just wanted
place?
to put it someplace safe. Didn't want it to get scuffed during the fight.
Take a good look at the future recycler.
I was any of them could have done that at any point.
Yeah, but you could have done that before he killed.
Sweet mother of God. The picture's got some interesting programming.
Oh, so there was another one? She's not that unique?
Just the only one to survive. So far. The dark time
There you
was
go.
over,
So
and a new golden age was about to begin.
Why? Why was a new age about to begin? You weren't even unique in Town. Wait, what? That's the end? Oh, why? I mean, I'm not angry at the end, but I mean, nothing really happened. Well, I mean, I didn't hate it.
Jocko, give the man a finger.
I mean, I didn't understand it, but I didn't hate it.
how are they tracking her?
Yes. I still don't know why they're tracking her. I don't know what they're doing. Starring Malcolm McDowell.
Yes.
Malcolm McDowell's in it.
Starring.
I mean, look at look at him on the box. It's starring. He's on.
Look at the
he's on
side of the box.
He's on the spine as starring Malcolm McDowell. He's the only name on the side of the box. But yes, we haven't seen Cyborg 1 or 2. Well, that's actually not true. I have seen Cyborg 1, Cyborg, the fairly infamous Canon film with Jean-Claude Van Damme, but not since I was a very wee child. And the only memory I have of it existing is that it was in a stack of VHSs in my house. It obviously wasn't my VHS, it was the parents'. And the only thing I remember from the film at all is Jean-Claude Van Damme fighting a tall man in the rain or something. And that's it. There's like one scene in my mind if I try and recall this, and that's all I remember.
I remember something about him running through a sewer.
No, just in the rain, fighting in the rain. That's it. That's the only thing I got. But maybe if we saw that, we would understand more about this, because this film opts for the you know everything you need to know. We're not going to explain shit, and so presumably in 1 and 2, everything is set up, because nothing is set up in this film.
Well, we can go have a browse of Cyborg 1, see what we think.
You want to watch Cyborg 1?
Well, Cyborg 3 wasn't terrible.
Well, maybe fine. Come on. We'll be back in a second, I guess. maybe we'll know more about the film. Maybe we'll understand things. I mean, Jean-Claude Van Damme, it can't be that bad.
Well, that didn't clear up anything. If anything, I'm more confused.
Okay, so watching Cyborg 1, just Cyborg, and all the things that that entails. First of all, did you know that Cyborg was re-edited 2 months before release by Jean-Claude Van Damme himself, and it kinda shows?
Well, it makes less sense than Cyborg 3.
Alright, so the first thing I should say, we're not going to do an episode on Cyborg. But, quite honestly, Cyborg has literally, and I mean literally, nothing to do with Cyborg 3 other than Cyborg 3 and presumably 2 used the name Cyborg as a platform to get themselves made.
They don't even appear to be in the same universe.
No.
Because
No,
they're both post-apocalyptic, but in a very different way.
Alright, well, before we go any further, Cisco, I chose this one, so that means this falls to you. Cisco, what is Cyborg 3 The Recycler about?
Okay, so... oh, God. Right, so it's post-apocalyptic, the world has died, there are cyborgs everywhere, there are people called recyclers, we're told, we only ever see the one, who go around chasing cyborgs down for spare parts. It's not really shown why, because there's no market or anything like that, but it's one of many things that's not established. Then we cut to Cash, who is the heroine, going in to see a doctor. She's a cyborg, but the doctor goes, oh, she's pregnant. And no cyborg has ever been pregnant ever, but there's this guy in the desert who's one of the old programmers from the Golden Age, and he will be able to help her. So she goes off to find him, but on the way out of town, she bumps into Richard Lynch, who goes, and then they follow her, and then she throws a disco grenade and escapes. Then she finds Zach Galligan in the desert. They're going to Cytown. Cytown's like, oh, we don't trust you. And then he goes, he's a programmer. Oh, we don't trust you. Then they set up a big battle between Cytown. Zach Galligan repairs all the androids, sort of. And there's a big fight. And then the heroine kills Richard Lynch. I haven't mentioned the heroine, but she doesn't really do much in this movie. She's just kind of a thing that's moved from place to place.
Heroine isn't the correct term for her, no.
No, she's
damsel in distress.
No, she's more of a MacGuffin.
Distress.
She is technically the MacGuffin.
MacGuffin in distress, lady.
And that's the end. And apparently, because she's giving birth to a child, that is going to be the start of a new golden age. But it is never explained why it's important that somebody's giving birth to a child.
Or how that would be a
golden age. It's not like there's people aren't able to have kids anymore and the human race is dying out, and that's the reason they're hunting cyborgs for parts, because they're all desperate to live longer by enhancing their life. That isn't the case. Or if it is, it's not explained.
No. So, a few things we should get off the bat immediately is, one, a cyborg in this film isn't a cyborg. A cyborg is an android.
Yeah,
complete
synthetic
life. In the Jean-Claude Van Damme one, there was one cyborg, just one, and they were a cyborg. Now,
although technically
he wasn't a cyborg.
Technically, in the Jean-Claude Van Damme one, she wasn't really in the movie very much.
No, the titular cyborg in Cyborg the Jean-Claude Van Damme 1989 movie is another plot point and doesn't make any sense. But like I said, we're not really going to talk about that film. In this film, Cyborg 3, cyborg is a term for android, because technically there's only two cyborgs in Cyborg 3, and that would be Richard Lynch himself, because he has a cybernetic eye, and Malcolm McDowell, who has a crocodile hand.
Yeah.
They are the only humans who have cybernetics. Whenever the term cyborg is used in this, they mean robot or android.
Yeah.
Well, la-di-da. It's good to be back in civilization, eh?
But yeah, they don't set. Well, there's so many things they don't set up properly. I mean, that is not set up properly.
I don't think anything in the film is set up properly. That's the problem.
I think the difference is, I suppose, if you like comparing this to McBain, this was more fun. Some of the action scenes were fun. There was some nice visual comedy. Richard Lynch hamming it up. Malcolm McDowell, for the 1 minute he was on screen, he was glorious. What are you
talking about? It stars Malcolm McDowell. He's on the front cover.
He really shined in his 1.5 scenes.
But yes, as you were saying about McBain, I would say it's almost on par confusion-wise with McBain, but I don't hate it because it's not horrible racist film taking itself super seriously. There's a lot of silly jokes.
Yeah,
what I would say, which is, this was like what, mid to late 90s.
Yeah.
The misogyny
95.
is real. I mean, it's fucking heavy. Cash, who is the heroine, her entire part of the movie is she has somehow fallen pregnant, and now she has to deal with that. And that's it. That's not only her motivation and goal, that's her entire purpose for being. Worse is when she meets Zach Galligan, who looks at her blueprints and goes, "You were literally designed to carry a baby."
There you have it. An onboard in vitro chamber. Incredible. Cybernetic womb and a cryogenic sperm bank. It's all here in your schematics.
Well, her story seems to be that she is learning to like the fact she's pregnant, because she starts out really hating it, wanting it gone. She ends up killing people to protect it. That's her story.
Sort of.
So her entire story is learning to want to be a mum. So, again, just fitting in with that.
Just the misogyny.
Misogyny, yeah.
Women in this film are either prostitutes or pregnant.
There's only 3 female characters in this movie. There is the doctor, who is killed. There is Cash, who is the pregnant heroine, who doesn't really do too much. She does do a bit of fighting, I suppose.
No.
And she does kill Richard Lynch at the end.
You're saying she does a bit of fighting. She is also there.
She does as much fighting as McBain does.
She does more fighting than McBain does. Well, actually, no. She has the McBain thing. She's seen firing a gun once, and then at the end, she shoots the main antagonist.
She throws a disco grenade and kicks Richard Lynch.
If you say so. We don't hate this film. This is what you should take from this. We don't hate it.
The third female character is the prostitute who gets assaulted, and then her story arc is she ain't gonna take no more shit. Her story arc, I suppose, is technically less misogynistic, because she starts as a prostitute. She ends up killing the people who abused her.
Sort of. Her storyline is that she was a prostitute. She got assaulted, her eye cut out, and half of her face slashed for some reason. Then she goes to Sci-Town, and then she becomes a disciple of the new Messiah. Which this baby is sort of set up to be, but is never explained why. Here's another major disconnect for the film. The trope is that this is a miracle child. Yeah. It's impossible. It's crazy. And a synthetic life is pregnant. That's a miracle. But then the film immediately and continuously tells you that A, she was designed to do this. B, this technology is hundreds of years old. C, she's not even the only one. At the end of the film, there is another model of her that I was about to say this is spoilers, but I suppose we don't really care. At the end of the film, her story culminates in tricking Richard Lynch, because the pregnancy happens as such that she can literally take out her robotic uterus.
The baby's in like a capsule.
Yeah, it's in a capsule. It's like I said, it's a sort of a robotic uterus, and the baby can continue to grow there, and then it has to be moved to a larger container. We think that's
well, we assume so, because it's not big enough to hold a full-grown baby.
No, it's not explained why she's feeling pain, like contractions and stuff. Especially when it's in a tube.
That's very inconsistent as well, because it's sort of referred to as power loss, but then she keeps. It's not just like.
Yes, at first she goes to the doctor because she's experiencing power drain and she doesn't know how. And then when she's X-rayed, they go, "Oh look, you have a baby," and then she says, "We'll get rid of it." And like you said, she goes to see Zach Galligan to do that. She attempts to do it, but the abortion program doesn't work because the baby can sense it and protects itself by blowing up the machine that's trying to abort it. And so there's this whole thing where maybe the baby is super, but then later it isn't. And it's
just a baby. And it is never explained why it's important to the world, why it would bring about a golden age.
No, but that's the trope, is that this is a miracle child. There's loads of films out there based on the miracle child.
The way to do it is, I mean, something like Hell Goes to Frogtown, where like there's virtually no fertile people, so children are sort of revered because they're effectively, the race is dying out. Fertile people are prized and effectively cattle and breeding stock, and that sort of thing. With this, there's nothing establishes any of it as the
fertility is never mentioned.
No, there's no kids in it, but then there's very few people in it.
And they were all children at some point, so they've all grown up.
Yeah, well,
not all of them are cyborgs.
Unless, because you could have it that humanity is immortal but unable to reproduce, and that would explain why Zach Galligan. But it's not said.
No.
Which is why we felt the need to go and watch Cyborg, was to see if it set up the world, but it doesn't.
It's set up in a completely different.
It's set up a very different world,
which had the fall of civilization and one cyborg who I still don't understand why she had to be a cyborg. Okay, very quickly, because I said we were going to talk about it. The cyborg in Cyborg is a woman who has been converted into a cyborg, as in she's mostly robot at this point.
They show the conversion.
So she can get information from a computer in New York, which may and or may not have the cure to the plague that is ravishing the human race, which you see one person with it and nobody else seems to give a shit.
Yeah. And I would say Cyborg is not as good as not as much fun as Cyborg 3.
Cyborg 3 better than Cyborg.
Yeah.
Cyborg takes itself a little too seriously to really be fun. This is all kinds of silly. Yeah. McBain is stupid. This is silly, and I think that's the defining line between the two of them.
I would say that Cyborg 3 was made by people who knew
they had no budget,
who knew this was a straight-to-video thing that just, you know, it's just there so that people have content. It's not actually required to be of any high standard. This is your budget. Figure out things.
You know you take all the fun out of the damn game? I'm out!
The battle in Sci-Town I quite enjoyed. There's a lot of
that was Saturday afternoon TV. Come on.
There's a lot of like hilarious little bits in there that, and each of the androids has their own thing, because we haven't really talked about the androids inside, because there's a couple of like key ones.
There's only a couple of them, but yeah.
There's a former battle droid whose hands are messed up, So Zach Galligan can't find replacement hands.
It's not even that he can't. He literally tells them not to bother giving him hands because
Yeah.
he gives one of them an arm.
Yeah.
And then he says, "Don't bother giving me hands. Just weld these to my servos." This is the literal line,
Yeah.
and it's two like MP5s, machine guns or something. And yes, fade transition to them just being welded to him, and he goes ah and shoots into the air. And as you say, how are you going to reload?
Yeah.
And as I said, if he'd given you hands, you could hold any number of weapons.
So that's like machine gun hands guy. You had
gun hands.
You had the guy who lost his arm, who was a sword ninja.
Maybe.
Cyborg.
Maybe.
He has a sword and he's
but we
very sad that he can't fight with a sword anymore because he doesn't have his sword arm anymore.
Yeah.
And he gets his sword arm back and he's all ninja-y. And there's that wonderful scene where it's all like, it's a metal thing and he goes, "Don't worry, we'll put some flesh on that." And he's like, "Don't worry, we can't afford to keep the... we can't afford
the mechano arm.
We can't afford those special effects. You'll be able to use your own hand in a moment."
Well, I think all you need is a synthetic flesh sleeve. You'll be fine.
Right. The weird one who stutters, who appears to be some sort of intelligent cyborg. He's like always
an intelligent cyborg.
And he comes out with a briefcase, and the camera focuses on the briefcase a lot.
He's also in a full suit.
He's in a full suit.
He almost looks like an
with
accountant.
a briefcase, but
Yeah.
the camera keeps transiting. So I was kind of like, "What's going on with this briefcase?" Because it keeps telling us about this briefcase. Well, the secret of the briefcase is there's grenades in it, and he throws one.
Throws one.
Once, but which is like a very anticlimactic, but in an amusing way. You've got the guy with no legs, who is clearly an actual actor
Numero
with no
4.
legs, who therefore does not get replacement legs because they certainly could not afford that.
I really didn't like that scene though because he's given somebody an arm. The whole montage is that they've just got apparently thousands of spare parts and dead cyborgs. So because they've got Zach Galligan now, he can fix them all. Except he doesn't, because they're like, "Can you fix the prostitute?" And he looks at her and they're like, "Yeah, we can fix her up."
He doesn't really. He just kind of like seals the hole effectively. Gives her an eye patch.
I was going to say he doesn't seal the hole. He gives her an eye patch. There you go. You're fixed. But to counterbalance that, there is, like you said, an actor with no legs who's playing a cyborg who's lost his legs. And Zach Galligan comes up to him and goes, "These legs are from a different model, so...
they're not going to fit you.
Sorry." And he's like, "That's okay, I don't need legs." And you're like, that sucks.
But he did. I mean, he at least got a nice death scene and everything. He went out heroically.
He got shot in the back. So here you go, retroactively I may end up hating this film depending on what Cash is in number 2. Or maybe not hating, but being a little more morally against.
I think, as I said earlier, I think the good thing about this film is it's quite clear they were aware of what they were, and they didn't take themselves seriously. Maybe to a bit of a detriment to the fact that they didn't even think things. They probably thought nobody's going to give a shit about the lore of Cyborg 3. Let's not worry about it. Let's just have people falling off bikes in a comic scene. Let's just have Richard Lynch just chewing up the scenery.
Because very possibly the entire thought process of the film of Cyborg Cubed, the recycler, was, "Hey, Malcolm McDowell is filming a film over there called Tank Girl, and he says for 2 days he'll come and film. Let's get a fucking movie going."
2 days, 2 hours. He had one scene with Richard Lynch and one scene sitting in a chair.
Yeah, that's kind of least of the film's problems, but the problem with Malcolm McDowell's character is that obviously he's around for 2 seconds.
He's not enough of a character to be a character.
Very quickly, but he's sort of briefly set up as like some sort of kingpin, and his criminal empire is 2 extras and a deck chair in the middle of nowhere with no base, no HQ. He sits in a deck chair outside of the brothel, and he doesn't own the brothel, and he isn't he isn't affiliated with them in any way. And then he's out of the movie. And I suppose the problem with that is you spent the rest of the movie waiting for him to come back to get his revenge.
Well,
to be the anti-hero
he's
at
on
the
the
end.
fucking box. He's on the side of the box and the back of the box. This movie is sold on his name. It's not sold on Richard Lynch's name. It's barely sold on Zach Galligan's. Richard Lynch, I don't think is
I feel
mentioned on the
bad
box.
for Richard Lynch because on the front of the box there, it says starring Malcolm McDowell. It shows gun hands. And then under that, it's got starring Zach Galligan and Christina Hage, I believe her name is. Christine Hage. Richard Lynch isn't mentioned. He's the titular recycler.
He is. And he has probably the most lines. The film focuses more on him than it really does on Cash.
He's the one who tries the hardest. He's the one acting in this.
Which is another weird thing, though, when you think about it, because the story they're trying to tell, they should have really been focused on more on Cash, but it really focuses more on Richard Lynch.
The recycler.
Yeah.
The titular recycler.
Which, I mean, yeah, it makes sense from the title, but that's not the story. The story shouldn't be the title.
Well, no, my point is that I don't know why it's called the recycler.
Because he doesn't recycle.
It should be
anybody,
something.
Really.
Well, no, it's not his story. We see him a bunch, but he's the antagonist. The story's supposedly about her and her miracle pregnancy, which as the film goes on, it's not a miracle in any way. It should the title should reflect that in some way, but she's so much of an afterthought that she's not the main character. She's barely the protagonist. Like, she's the thing that gets the... I was about to say the thing that gets the story moving, but she isn't really. She's just also there. Do you think they'll ever see the light of day again?
No, they're probably not.
Oh no. Oh no. You know how you were like, no one will see that it's sitting on the tricorder? Sort of okay cam is sitting on the tricorder, which means the tricorder isn't over here anymore. Shock horror. Update the wiki. Update the fucking wiki. Okay, well, enough of all that. My favourite scene.
Okay.
And then your favourite scene, because we didn't have one from McBain, because fuck McBain. My favourite scene in this is good to me and fun to me because it's the most pathetic thing I've ever seen filmed. And it is the shining the torch in their eyes. Zach Galligan and Hage are in his cave, because he lives in a cave even though there isn't enough stuff in there for him to live, but it doesn't matter, whatever, just go with it. And they're hiding in the cave because the recycler and his cyborg/android sidekick are coming to get them. And the plan is, wait for the two who are chasing them to enter his cave, turn the lights out in the cave, and shine a torch in their eye. Ah! To which Lynch has to go, ah, no, lights. Ah. And then the plan is, run away. I've shone a light in his eyes, and now I'm going to run away. And it is the most pathetic thing, like I said, I've ever seen put onto screen in any film that's released yet. But it's great because it's so shit. And it's like, yes, that is how you get away from a murderous cyborg and recycler. How else are you going to do it? Anyway, you didn't tell us your favourite scene. Is it a favourite scene or is it just a scene?
No, my favourite scene was your favourite scene. So.
You get your own. Come on, get your own.
It was the best scene in the movie.
What's your second favourite scene?
Oh, God, my second favourite scene. I think it's the Malcolm McDowell scene.
With the finger buffing.
Yeah, the finger buffing. Just, can you give me...
Just that one, though.
You just
buff that finger.
Yeah, can you just buff that finger, please? He's getting a manicure.
You see,
and it's on his robot hand.
His crocodile hand. It's his robotic, but it's a crocodile hand.
I do love he mentions that I wasn't sure on this at first, but now I've really come to like it because I can really adjust the pressure properly, and it gave really weird.
It played very heavily into innuendo, to be fair.
Yeah, and then he's
then he says you
breaking
can
Richard Lynch's arm.
Yeah, and he says you can. Well, he's giving the benefits of it. It's like at 30 pounds of pressure you can do this, and at such and such pounds of pressure you can scratch your balls till they bleed. It's like that's not a benefit.
Also, that would. I mean, technically, if you're able to scratch your balls till they bleed, it doesn't matter how much pressure is being applied to your arm.
No.
Unless you're saying you would scratch. If I tell you to, you'll scratch your balls till they bleed in order to make me stop.
Maybe.
But it was a very weird statement to make.
But either way, it's not a good sign for it if there was only one good scene. Because usually you're like, oh, this scene was great, this scene was great, this scene was great. Well, my favourite was this. Well,
I liked some of the fighting, and there was that weird one where I thought it was nunchucks, when it turned out to be some sort of weird flobberdy bit of
pipe.
Something.
It was a very rubbery bit of pipe, but I think it was supposed to be nunchucks. We're gonna fix that in post. I mean, they're not, but yeah.
Because it kind of was wielding it like nunchucks, and the scene with the ninja, the cyborg samurai.
I thought you meant the actual ninja who shows up for 5 seconds.
Let's say there's a
ninja.
There's a ninja
there
for
a ninja
one brief flash of a ninja. It's literally sort of okay.
Right. It's alright.
It's. I would argue it is not as good as either of the other two movies on the shelf of sort of okay.
No, it is. It is lower end of okay.
It is
shelf of okay.
It is bare minimum level of acceptableness. I wouldn't really recommend people put this into like a bad movie night.
I wouldn't recommend people go out to find it.
No.
Usually that's the thing we do. We recommend whether or not you should go and watch this yourself. Go and find it. Go and give some love to this unknown.
Whereas like Star Crash and the other things on the shelf of sort of okay thus far, we would recommend you. Well, you wouldn't recommend Eliminators. I kind of would. And after watching McBain, I would even more because it was much better. When you add McBain to the curve, those two are elevated a lot more. And this one,
the curve doesn't affect
this
it.
one. There's got this curve. You got
no. The
curve's
curve
down
does not
here.
affect
You got
it's
Story of Ricky
line.
up here, and you got like the Eliminators down here, and Star Crash is about here, and then it's about here.
No, the curve does not affect it, as you have been told by other people as well. Other people have told you that doesn't matter how good this one was, it's on its own merits. Right, now Eliminators, the middle 40-odd minutes is inexcusable.
Yes,
that's why.
First 20 and the
it
last 20
doesn't matter that
amazing.
the first 20 is great. Well, the first 20 is okay, and that the last 10 minutes or so are funny. Doesn't matter. That middle section, if you could cut out everything on the boat, then you've got a nice little short, weird short film. And yeah, I would recommend that, but no. As for Cyborg 3 or Cubed, the Recycler, the weakest, the flimsiest of recommendations to see it. I wouldn't spend any money on it.
No, I wouldn't even recommend watching it, to be honest.
If you have a... Wow, really? You're usually the nicer one.
No.
The grumpy and chunky one, as we've been called, because I don't recommend anything, but if it's on Netflix and you already have a subscription to Netflix, or it's on Amazon Prime and you already have a Prime whatever, then if you are bored one afternoon, you can watch it. And you can laugh at the torch shining in light scene. But hey, maybe when we see number 2.
Maybe
then
number
we can
2 will
recommend
explain.
them as a set, as a box set.
Oh god, I wouldn't recommend Cyborg 1 either.
Oh no, Cyborg 1 doesn't exist in this. It's Cyborg. It's Cyborg.
Well, clearly Cyborg 1 has no relation to this. As we've already said.
Squared, Cyborg cubed. If it doesn't have a superscript 2 on Cyborg, I would be very upset.
but maybe he was originally going to be that role, and then he pulled out to do Tank Girl. I don't know. That's just a bit of a hypothetical out there.
And then they swung high and got Zach Galligan to replace him. It's a baffling casting choice. Yes, it's a baffling casting choice because you're constantly asking, is he an old man?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good stuff. We need more awkward pauses in our videos.
And at last, we have another movie taken off the Bad Movie Mountain to add to the shelf of sort of okay.
Wait, what's that?
Oh, that's for later.
Oh, okay. Sort of okay.
Sort of okay.
Cyborg cubed the recycler. Here comes the dog. If you want to be in the shot, you can be in the shot.
Now people know I'm not wearing shoes.
And then you just have wires all over the place. I mean, it's all.
I'm
it's
a
all
puppet.
fine.
I need the wires.
It's absolutely all fine.
So should we maybe?
No, it's fine. Yeah, fuck it. We're super amateur. Malcolm McDowell sits now on the shelf of sort of okay, where I would say he doesn't really belong, but that movie definitely does.
And well, I say definitely by the skin of its bloody teeth. It avoided the shelf of shit only by miles. It
doesn't exist yet. I